Hello everyone. Here it is, it's mid-February 2024. We're just trying to exit out of a pretty cold winter. A couple of hard freezes here in the Woodlands, Texas. But today's beautiful. I think the high is going to be approaching 70. Tomorrow the high is going to be approaching 80s. So what do you want to do when the weather gets good like this? You want to get out and start smoking some meats. So today we're going to work through some of my logistics of smoking meats, and then we're going to actually smoke some spare ribs, and then we're going to do some chicken wings in the fryer. So one of the first things I want to talk to you about today is some of the logistics I have for the Traeger. So this is the Traeger XL. It's a wonderful piece of equipment. You can actually push a button and more smoke will get on the meat. So I'm going to be doing 6 racks of St. Louis style ribs. You can see I got plenty of grill space to easily put 6 racks. Here's the pellet smoker hopper. Here's where we put the pellets. These are going to be apple pellets. It's what I typically like to use for smoking ribs. Even if I'm using hardwood on a stick burner, I'll use apple wood as well, just because I like the mildness of applewood smoke flavor on pork ribs. So some additional logistics that we have. So here I have a hopper for pellets for the Traeger. You can see 1 40-pound bag will fit in there. These pellets are pecan pellets. So those would be used for, beef and chicken, something with a little bit more smoke flavor. So, and because I do so many smokes, I have inventory of apple and cherry wood pellets, and I put all those in these containers because of my OCD nature. And that's one of the ways I keep things organized. Also, there's times where I'll do 12 racks of ribs in a day. So I use an aluminum foil dispenser to easily pull the aluminum foil out, which enables me to cut it to size. And since I double wrap all the ribs after 2 hours of smoke, then double wrapping them in aluminum foil, smoke them another 2 hours. So, okay. Well, that kind of wraps up with some logistics. Let's go over some of the stuff we're going to use to do the wings and the ribs. Let's start with the ribs. This is my go-to rub, Texas style barbecue sweet rub. To that, I add a little bit of cayenne pepper and also use Killen's S&P blend, which is just a salt and pepper. It's a little bit bigger grain for the pepper and salt, so it enhances the flavor of those ribs. On the wrap, I'll put brown sugar and honey. Got a lot of honey because we're going to use this honey for the wings as well. But that wraps up what we put on the ribs. For the wings, we're going to have a little sesame oil, some apple cider vinegar, and then a 50-50 mixture of sriracha chili sauce with honey. So if I use a cup of honey, I use a cup of sriracha. So that's what we're going to use to do the wings and the ribs today. All right, everybody. Talked about I'm actually going to smoke 6 racks of St. Louis style pork spare ribs. That means these have already been cut to make them St. Louis style, which I like the fat level in these. To me, it's a little bit more flavorful than the baby backs, but it's a choice, it's a preference. Basically for me, it's whatever my wife prefers over the other one, so she gets to decide. But these came from a local grocery store called H-E-B. So I'm going to process this 1 rack of ribs, and that is to say that we're going to take the cryovac wrapping off of them, got everything set up here to do just that. This is my outdoor kitchen sink, and you know, I'm all about logistics and having things set up proper. So we'll have these right here, and what I'm going to do is get a paper towel off of this wipe all roll, which is wonderful. I'll dry these off a little bit. And you can see we're going to be getting rid of fat that's loose on top. We'll set that here, and then we're going to trim this. I'm not trimming for competition because I don't do competitions, but here's our sharp knife. I know it's sharp because I always sharpen. I never have a dull knife. What will a dull knife do? It will end up cutting you. So what we're going to do here is just cut through some loose meat that will just burn on the ends and make it a little harder to cook. So I'll end up cooking that and somebody will eat it, and we're going to get rid of fat that's on here, any loose pieces of meat that will cook quicker than the rest. So put that to the side. There we go. And I don't know if the camera will show, but you see this silver backing? So many times people will cook ribs and they won't remove the silver backing. So we're going to remove it. That way, when you're eating, that silver backing just doesn't come off the back of the rib and into your mouth and have some weird flavors. So the way I do it is I just start it a little bit on that first rib, and then I just get a wipe all and try to get it pinched, and then you can see it literally there it is. It just peels off. Makes for a much better cook to get that silver backing removed. And we'll do this across however many racks of ribs we're going to cook. This particular cook is going to be 6 racks. So let's go over the recipe that I'm going to use. Basically, I'm going to put my rub on these. Then I'm going to put them on a pit that's heated to 225 degrees on this Traeger XL pit. And I'm going to cook them meat side down for 2 hours at 225 degrees once the rub is on them. Then when I'm going to cook them bone side down for 2 hours. So the rub will be on the top, and then after 2 hours at 225 degrees, I'm going to wrap them in aluminum foil, bone side up, on a bed of honey, brown sugar, and butter. And I'll cook them additional 2 hours. So they're going to be on smoke for 2 hours and then on heat at 225 degrees for an additional 2 hours. And that should make it a perfect bite off of the bone without falling off the bone. So I'll get rid of this one last piece of meat right here. It's kind of sticking out. And we're ready to put the rub on it. So let's do that. Let's do that now. We'll start with Killen's S&P. We'll kind of sprinkle that on. This is the base layer. I'll do it on both sides. Remember, I took that silver backing off. There's a reason I did that. This adheres better and the rubs get through better. So there's a nice amount of Killen's S&P blend. Zach's Texas style barbecue sweet rub. And I liberally apply this. you can see I'm covering 100% of these spare ribs, St. Louis style spare ribs, in this Zax. And we'll do the back side. There you go. There, those are completely seasoned and ready to cook. Some of this meat that I took off, I'll season it as well, and we'll just throw it on the pit. Somebody will eat it, friends, family, puppy dogs. So, and then the rest of this will go in the rubbish bin. Okay, there you go. All right, here's the Traeger XL. That's what we're going to be using to smoke these 6 racks of ribs today. Remember, 2 hours on smoke, 2 hours wrapped at 225 degrees. That's all they need to cook. So this is the hopper that holds the pellets. I'll be using apple pellets. It's probably 50% full, so I'll fill this up sometime during the cook. And this is the switch to turn it on. It's plugged in. I have it underneath my outdoor kitchen because it's been raining so much here. So you hit that switch and it says Pitt's Pit is ready to cook. So turn and press dial to set the grill temperature. So I'm going to turn it and I'm going to press it. There's 175. I'm going to turn it. 180, 190, 200. Remember, I want to cook at 225, so we're getting this at 225, then press and hold here. And now it's igniting. The pellets are going to be fed into a fire pit. You can hear them already starting to drop. Fire will be, a rod will heat and start burning the pellets, and we'll quickly get to our temperature. So it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to get to 225. So while that's happening, we'll finish prepping the rest of these racks of ribs. All right, here we are. I put it on super smoke. We're basically at 225, so we're going to put the ribs on. Took about 15 minutes to get it. You can see the ribs are, they've been rubbed with their all-purpose, or with the Zax sweet rib rub. So I'm going to roll this right up to the edge, and you see the smoke. So we got 6 racks of ribs. I got 3 racks. We're gonna compress them a little bit. We don't want them to be spread out while they're cooking. Helps them cook evenly. And we're gonna put 2 racks. Each surface. That's a big rack right there. So we'll set that. We're going to put this little slab of morsel right here. That's for the cameraman. And there we are. So we got the ribs on. You can see how tasty everything looks. We had our, basically this is a cookie tray, baker's rack. So that's what I use. We'll close this up and we're going to set our timer for 2 hours on smoke. Remember, we're using apple pellets. This is what's going to be smoking these ribs at 225 degrees for 2 hours. When that 2 hours is up, we're going to wrap them in aluminum foil, double wrap them on the aluminum foil on a bed of brown sugar, honey, and butter. All right. All right, we've had these ribs smoking on the Traeger XL. We're smoking at 225 degrees. Our timer was set for 2 hours. We have 1 hour and 31 minutes left. But I'm gonna go ahead and spritz these with applesauce. So, as you can see, they're looking pretty good. So we'll spritz these a little bit just to keep them moist in here. There you go. Looking wonderful, very tasty. We don't want to be open too long. There you go. Let that get back to 225. About another 30 minutes, we'll spritz them again to keep them moist. All right, these ribs have been on for a full hour. We got another hour of them getting smoked, so I'm gonna spritz them again with my spritz. So here we go. Look how good they look. Just keeping them moist. Want to have moisture on them. Let's go ahead and close that up. They look really nice. Smell really nice. Temperatures drop, but it'll go back to the 225. We've got an hour and 3 minutes left. Then we'll double wrap these on a bed of honey, brown sugar, and butter. We'll show you that process here in a moment. Here's the simple math. We have 6 racks of St. Louis style spare ribs. I double wrap them, so we're going to need 12 sheets of aluminum foil. So I'll just peel off about this much and do that 12 times. So here's number 2. Again, what I'll tell everybody, if you're going to smoke a lot of meats, be aware that you can get the logistics to make it a lot easier when you have something like this that can hold a lot of aluminum foil. And you know, I literally have smoked hundreds and hundreds of racks of ribs, so you know, I just want to make it as easy as possible. And what we'll do is we'll put a bed of butter, honey, and brown sugar right here, and we'll put the ribs on here meat side down. Then we'll double wrap them and cook them for an additional 2 hours. Okay. All right, the ribs have been on smoke at 225 degrees for 2 hours. It's now time to wrap these. So we're going to get them off of the pit. They're well on their way to being cooked. They smell really good. They look really good. I think the ones on the top cook the quickest, believe it or not. They feel like they're the tenderest. So we're going to just take these, get this closed, let it get back up to temp. We're going to swing these over here. Then we're going to lay down that bed of brown sugar, honey, and butter that we talked about. So here's the brown sugar. honey. Here's the butter. And of course, here's the rack of ribs. Meat side down. I don't really put any more on the bone side. So we'll wrap these up. And we're gonna do this. That's one layer. Here's the second wrap. We're gonna make that tight and seal it. And that's one rack of ribs wrapped and ready to put back on the pit. We'll do that 5 more times for 6 racks of ribs. All right, so we've got all 6 racks double wrapped over a bed of meat side down, over a bed of honey, brown sugar, and butter. So we're gonna put these back on the grill, on the smoker, and we're gonna set the timer for 2 hours. So we're gonna smoke these additional 2 hours. And then they'll be ready to slice when those 2 hours are up. There you go, 6 racks of ribs, St. Louis style, 2 more hours. Let's go ahead and set our timer. Two hours. Okay, here we have the 6 rack of ribs removed. They were cooked an additional 2 hours at 225 degrees. So they're nice and tender. We'll let them sit here a little bit and slice them. All right, sliced up all the ribs, packaged them up, and it looked really good, nice and tender. Got them all packaged and ready to deliver.